Some common themes of the horror genre that go hand in hand with one's primal fears include isolation, self-destruction, and survival. Relating to those common horror movie themes, how does the medium of film manage to scare audiences? How does a film draw out anxiety, fear, or tension? What may first come to mind is sound, or music. Sound helps deliver the shock or jump scares, and helps set the mood and build a sense of tension or impending doom. However, seeing as film is a visual medium, it's what's on screen that ultimately gets under audiences' skin, and what keeps people up at night. What I'm referring to is mise en scène. In Richard Barsom and Dave Monahan's Looking at Movies, An Introduction to Film, they state, a film's mise en scène is everything we see in a shot, every object, every person, everything about their surroundings, and how each of these components is arranged, illuminated, and moved around. Some contributing factors to a film's mise en scène are its setting, decor, props, costumes, makeup, hairstyle, lighting, composition, and kinesis. Let's first take a look at some mise en scène elements in the classic Ridley Scott horror film, Alien, and how they contribute to the universal fear of isolation. It's all said in the film's tagline, in space, no one could hear you scream. The fact that our main protagonists, Ripley, and her crew are trapped millions of miles out in the vacuum of space forces them to face the alien and fight to survive. It's within this compromised setting that terror builds, and that terror has a lot to do with the alien's look and the decor of the ship. Relating to the monster's look, many essays have pointed out the implicit sexual imagery that Alien displays. A 1995 article written by Thomas Vaughan in the Quarterly Journal of Speech named Voices of Sexual Distortion, Rape, Birth, and Self-Annihilation Metaphors in the Alien Trilogy points out the multi-layered metaphorical theme of rape in the first three Alien films. Sticking to just Alien, Vaughan notes how both parties, human and alien, violate one another. Technology is invading and attempting to control the alien's environment. The alien, on the other hand, returns the favor and kills its victims via a phallic-looking method. While Alien doesn't explicitly indicate rape as a theme through exposition, the imagery placed throughout the film implies it all the same. With the xenomorph portraying an amalgamation of both female and male representation at each of the alien's stages of growth, its gender is convoluted, making it a more obscure and daunting presence. We fear what we don't understand. The implicit sexual overtones play on audiences' natural fear of being violated or taken advantage of. However, I find the simplicity of how well the alien blends into the Nostromo's interior gives the film that uneasy feeling that the xenomorph can be hiding anywhere, at any time. The ship's decor and texture of the alien's body allows the alien chameleon-like capabilities, which contributes to a jarring jump scare during the climax of the film. The low-key lighting, design of the xenomorph, and the composition and framing of the shot, placing the alien hidden in the background with a negative space, as Ripley's blocking in the shot is unbalanced, creates compositional stress for audiences as viewers subconsciously are used to balanced shots. Speaking of composition, Darren Aronofsky's Black Swan is littered with purposefully placed compositional choices. Nina is chosen to play the famous role of the Swan Queen in Swan Lake. Yet, she struggles with the role, as she's perfect portraying the innocent and controlled White Swan, but struggles to transform herself into the guile and seductive Black Swan. We see Nina's struggle, not only through Natalie Portman's Academy Award-winning performance, but through her environment. For example, when we are first shown Nina's room, it displays a childlike innocence. The whole room is pink-colored, and there are stuffed animals propped up in the background. Nina is the White Swan. However, in Nina's quest for perfection, and proving to her mentor that she could play the Black Swan, she is told that she has to lose herself in the role. This poses to cause an identity crisis for Nina, as the once innocent ballerina begins to take risks, engaging in sex, experimenting with drugs, and occasionally being violent and rude.
What happened to my sweet girl, huh? She's gone!
In too many shots to count, there are mirrors placed within the frame, almost always reflecting Nina's image back to her or the audience. She's constantly being reminded of who she is and why she has to change in order to play the Black Swan. Besides the organization of objects and subjects within the shots, Nina's costume and makeup design explicitly showcase her descent into madness. She's first shown practicing in white dance attire, but as the plot progresses and Nina becomes possessed by her commitment to the Black Swan role, we see her practicing in gray and then black attire, symbolizing her loss of innocence and control. This loss of control is then conveyed through kinesis. Nina, who was once fixated with perfect unblemished motions, now moves with seduction and a carefree demeanor. Another element displayed in Black Swan's Mise En Scene is its reliance on shock value for its contribution to horror. As Robin Rustin and William Downes put it, movies can play on our fear of the unknown, creating suspense and terror, or they can actually show us something so shocking that we almost cannot bear to look at it, creating visceral revulsion or horror. Black Swan and Alien incorporate both the use of suspense to create terror and shock to provide horror. Although, Black Swan's use of shock is particularly upsetting. The reason why is that the bodily horrors that Nina endures during her metamorphosis from the white to Black Swan are self-inflicted. The theme of self-destruction is particularly unnerving in Black Swan because it's hidden within Nina's obsession to be the best at what she does, something that we may all desire in our own lives. However, her resilience and sacrifice to her craft comes at the ultimate price. Whether we're up against the unknown or battling against one's own psyche, one thing's for sure: we're safer when surrounded by family and friends. That statement couldn't be further from the truth in films like Tobe Hooper's The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Sotrius Petridis's A Historical Approach to the Slasher Film credits The Texas Chainsaw Massacre as one of the pioneers of the slasher subgenre and goes on to list 6 crucial elements that molded that genre. While The Texas Chainsaw Massacre more than meets all the required elements, be that a killer, an isolated or limiting setting, transgressing victims, shock value, and a final girl left to fend for herself, I'll be focusing on probably the most important element of them all: the weapon. As Petridis states, the most distinguishable element of the killers is the weapon. In the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the weapon is horrifying. It's loud, and it has the capability of dismembering limbs. Weapons like knives, hammers, axes, etc. not only contribute to horror in the sense of delivering gruesome, blood-spattering kills, but they also allow the killer the excuse of getting up close and personal with their victims, invading their space. When regarding slasher films, Petridis states, "In these films, it is unusual to find any sort of guns or technological weapons. This is because guns aren't as scary. We associate blades or spiked weapons with slow and painful deaths, whereas guns we assume are quick and less painful. For this reason, the modern and popular movie series, The Purge, suffers as a quote-unquote horror film. Yes, there are creepy killers with blades and masks running around, but our protagonists are already well-equipped to fend for themselves. There's not that sense of suspense or thrills that come along with a protagonist that is vulnerable and struggling to survive off their wits. A shotgun or an assault rifle just seem like cheating, and instead give audience members a sense of security or relief. Relief that is not found in rural Texas, where gas stations don't have gas, and a cannibalistic family manages to feed off of traveling youths. The mise en scène of horror films is crucial to evoke the fear audiences pay to experience. It's the mysterious and suspense of the unknown that draws people to love horror films, and the primal lengths in which characters will go to survive. That being said, audiences must not be cheated with what they see on screen. Their fears of the worst possible situations must come to light. If mise en scène is everything we could see within a shot, then in horror films, those shots better hold explicit or implicit images that either crawl under our skin, make us cover our eyes, or jump out of our seats. And even better, how about all of those?